Thought I did.
This is the Sports Porch, Black and Gold, with your hosts, the Technical Director, the Grand Schwabini, and Hockey Jesus. Come on, Pittsburgh. Let's show a little Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates love. The Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now.
Here we are.
And there you go. Sports Porch Black and Gold starts now all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Welcome back to the show. I am in the Monroeville Basement Studios, actually the Monroeville Porch, we call it. To my right is Hockey Jesus. Right in front of me is the Grand Schwabini. Your light is not working that great, Grant. You still look like you're in the dark.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
We got to do, now it's,
No, it's better there. I like it there.
Yeah, but on,
Yeah,
I can see.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like
Yeah.
it's shining off of the button in the background.
we always screw it up.
Hey-o.
So
it's not perfect.
If somebody wants a job holding the light next to Mark's face,
Yes, we have,
Hockey Jesus will pay.
we have an
Just
opening.
apply.
We have an opening.
Just holding the light. Yeah. So welcome back to the show. Now, listen, before we do anything at all, and before I tell you that we're going to drop the podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts, we want to tease this draft party Thursday night. We haven't picked a time yet. The draft starts at what, 8?
like 7. I think.
I don't know.
I think it starts at probably, we should go live at 8.
Yeah, well, so we're gonna go. We're gonna have a watch
makes
party.
sense.
It's going to be on YouTube and on X and on Facebook. So you can join us live for the entire draft. The Grant Schwabini and I will be here in the studio. HJ will be joining us from Greenfield, from the Greenfield
From
studio.
the Greenfield studio. Yeah,
We may have some guests. We're going to have our guys from the Philly show. We're going to be chiming in.
I told the counselor to drop on by.
The counselor will drop in. So thoughts on the draft through the whole draft. Shall we say this is going to be sponsored by Slice of New York just because you're picking up Slice of New York pizza? We'll just throw a shout out to that guy out there.
There you go.
So Slice of New
Damn,
York
I'm wishing
pizza.
I would be coming over for that.
Yeah, see, you're missing it. Chris Chada's in the house on YouTube. Hello,
I could always
guys.
get some Minios.
What's up, Chris Chada? So, draft party, live draft party on YouTube Thursday night, YouTube, Facebook, and X. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys Thursday night. But tonight, we're going to start with something near and dear to our hearts. Of course, before we do that, I want you to subscribe at the Sports Porch Podcast on YouTube. We're up to like 100, almost 120 followers. Rocketing right up there. Woo-hoo! Into the stratosphere. That's from the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah,
what he said is, I'm going to take this company into the stratosphere.
Is that movie like over 25 years old now? At this point?
No.
20.
But it's like,
I bet it's 20.
No, it's like, look it up. It's like 10, 12 years.
Okay.
I think 20. Because I was
I've got a lot going on.
Lauren.
I've got 2 hockey games going on.
Okay.
My peeps are texting me. I got a lot going on.
All right, HJ, you got to stay connected. You got to stay connected.
2013.
There you go. That's exactly what I said. 2013. Thank you very much.
12 years. That's a lot of years.
2013. That's exactly right. Okay, so something interesting is happening with the Pirates. I know everybody's seen that and heard that, and I captured a little bit of that. I want to see what you guys think about it. We've got some new.
It's the crowd saying "sell the team."
Yeah, we've got some new audio here.
Sell the team.
Sell the team. I think it's about time. I can't help but think that somehow we have something to do with this. We're part of it. What I love about the Pirates right now is that it seems like the entire fan base, the entire media base,
they're catching on.
Everybody is on the ball, on the bandwagon. Now, let me ask you this question, okay? Because we can talk about the Pirates real quick, and we can say that they're 8-15. They just got swept by the Guardians. Their run differential is negative 25. They've only scored.
It's not too bad.
It's well, right. It's in the National League. I think it is.
Ooh, nice save.
Second worst. The Rockies are already at negative 51.
Yikes!
But second worst. Now here's
a lot of home games.
Here's the thing. They've given up 103 runs. They've only scored 78 runs.
In
this
how many
year.
games? Like 22 games.
in 23 games. That is also, it's
bad.
actually third lowest in the National League by 1 run. The Braves, believe it or not, who have the same record, have scored 77 runs. And this is the metric that I look at, and we talk about this all the time. The Bucko Brick fiasco was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's Chris Chioda.
There were a lot of straws on that camel.
Actually, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was almost like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
You know, between the 21 wall sign debacle, the Bucko Bricks, the comments made by Ben Cherington about looking under the hood or whatever the hell he was saying about, talking about statistics lately. The most recent is like, you know, you're not reading into the analytics correctly. You know, like if a guy's hitting the ball really hard and at a good angle and a superior velocity, but he's like always hitting it right at a player, you know, like we're going to leave him in the lineup.
Well, because fans are also still pissed about the opening game and not pitching Skeens. I've been hearing that a lot still.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's like 20 games ago.
Yeah. So it's like a perfect storm.
Happy. But one thing the Pirates did do to try and save some face, do you hear about the bobbleheads?
Yeah, they give them to everybody.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to give everybody a bobblehead because the line was so long to get a bobblehead. Like by the time people got in, there were like 5,000 people in that line that didn't get it.
Yeah. So like seriously,
I didn't get a Talbot bobblehead. You don't see me complaining.
Why are people so interested in getting this Paul Skeens bobblehead?
Well, because it's the only thing that's worth anything.
Right. The bobblehead is worth more than the team.
Right. So
and watching the team on the field.
So is this going to fix the problem?
No, absolutely. Right. Actually, it made it worse.
Yeah.
The problem was on full display Saturday afternoon when Paul Skeens was pitching.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched a game, maybe not his best game, but he pitched well enough to win.
Yep.
And the Pirates could only squeak out 4 hits.
Right.
And when they had a moment in the game where they could have took the lead or won the game, you know, you had your star prize free agent signing Tommy Pham up to hit into a double play because he's not really a major league player anymore.
Yeah. Right. And certainly not a star.
Right.
Right.
So, and he had some words to the effect like, you know, all the girlfriends and the best wishes in the world isn't going to win a championship game.
Yeah,
I
mean,
wait a minute. What?
He basically was saying, he's trying to make the most of it, but even the extra things that he has in his life, like a hot girlfriend and, you know, a promise of a great salary, like that's still not enough to sustain him. He is a competitor and he needs to compete for something. And basically he's saying on this team, I can't compete.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to read between the lines a little bit because he's pretty savvy about it because he knows he doesn't want to come out of this looking like sour grapes, and he knows he only got another year and 3/4. So,
but the crap of this team is that, you know, Paul Skeens is the main draw, and boy, like, you know, if he gives up a run, his start's in jeopardy.
No,
which
is
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, now look, he hasn't been dominating this year, quite like he did last year.
They're saying his velocity's off a little.
Yeah, but you know, obviously
97 instead of 101.
Yeah, he's still going to put in a good year. I mean, I think he's like 2.96 ERA, maybe something like that.
287.
287.
There you go.
So look, he's pitching well, but you know, the bottom line is, I mean, like he's got no support.
Yeah, you got to get
none.
You have to have.
I mean, he's 2-2, I believe. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, like this guy's honestly like got no shot to win like 17, 18 games.
No, not with this lineup.
Not with this lineup.
And,
you know, and it's just not right. I feel like it's like they're almost hurting his legacy.
And then you know, I don't want to bash Shelby too much because he's been delivered a pile of shit.
Right.
But I mean, he's not making great moves either. I mean, you know, what he's doing with the outfield is just atrocious.
Yeah. I don't like Shelby.
And sitting Cruz, like just play the guy. He doesn't need a friggin' break.
No.
He's a young kid.
He needs to play.
He can get out there all the time. And you know what? If Kutch can't play the outfield, then he's your designated hitter. That's it. Yeah. He's every night he's your designated hitter. At least while he's at home, while the fans are here.
Right.
Yeah. Marvin Hamilton's back in the house. Thanks, Marvin.
Hey, Marvin, what's going going on?
Listen, here's some interesting stuff about the Pirates and the pitching staff. Paul Skeens, 5 games started, 3 quality starts, 2-2. He has 30 Ks over 31 innings, 2.87 ERA. Mitch Keller, 5 games started, 3 quality starts as well. He's 1-2. He has 20 Ks over 28 innings, 4.18 ERA. Andrew Haney, 4 games started, 2 quality starts. He's 1-1, 25 innings pitched, 22 strikeouts, 2.13 ERA.
Yeah, he's been lights out.
Yeah, he's pitched well.
Okay, so here we go.
You could say arguably he's their best pitcher
right now. Him and Skeens, same issue. Just so amazingly ridiculous that they could have got now Mitch Keller. We know what Mitch Keller is, but you have these guys, and Skeens and Haney, who knows? Haney's a guy nobody has any tape on yet.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like the lineup they're putting on the field, I know I'm down on O'Neal Cruz still. 227. There was that meme that went around, or that comparison, like, Ellie De La Cruz, right. Reds fans are like, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer, and what's wrong with Pirates fans? Well, and you guys were trolling me a little bit on that.
They said he should be a major league all-star or something.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, look, when you look at the stats, there's nothing other than averaging like 25 homers a year based on 1 3/4 years of full play.
Yeah.
There's nothing Hall of Fame worthy about either player at all. I mean, I don't see any superstar qualities on either of these guys. Like O'Neal Cruz has a great big swing, and when he connects, he can hit it a long way.
Yeah, it's a monster.
So did who was the guy? Larry Boa, not Larry Boa. The Blast, the
Greg Luzinski.
Yeah, so did Greg Luzinski.
The Bull.
The Bull Blast. He hit the ball a mile.
Oh, yeah.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No. So too fat.
And I'm not right. I'm not comparing O'Neal Cruz to Greg Luzinski. I'm just saying, like, there's lots of guys in the major leagues who, when they swing the bat, it's a high velocity. They hit the ball hard. It goes a long way. I mean, you got to be able to do that to be in the major leagues. Hop off this O'Neal Cruz bullshit. Yes, he's leading the team right now with a 354 on base percentage. Not too shabby. He's got 11 RBIs and 5 home runs. Look, if the guy turns it around, I like I said last week, I live in Pittsburgh. I have for 31 years. I'm a de facto Pirates fan. When I want to see a baseball game, I go to PNC Park. I want to see a winner. Mm-hmm. Listen, sell the team. Now, I have a feeling
sell the team.
This is something you're going to hear first right here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bob Nutting is setting himself up to sell the team.
I don't think so.
Nope. I do.
No,
I do.
Why would he want to sell the team?
Did you hear his reaction to the sell the team?
Yeah.
He said, don't play it on the television.
Well, right. But his reaction was like, hey, it's, we're sounds like a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah. But you're right. But do you, when it comes to sports and politics are very, very similar.
Oh yeah, they're intertwined.
Right. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying though is the reaction is never the actual reaction. It's the prepared reaction.
Maybe you might be right about that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. How long did they weren't like, we're sitting here with Bob Nutting while they're chanting "sell the team." How do you feel about this, Bob? It was a prepared response.
Oh, of course.
Because the PR team said, we got to say something. So what do you want to say? No. I think he's getting ready to sell the team. And the reason why I think that, not this year, maybe not next year, is because there's a window that's closing. They're the 4th most profitable team in baseball. And whatever he bought the team for, he's more than quadrupled his money.
For sure.
And he's very, very wealthy. He's
going to get a lot more than that when he sells.
But here's here's the thing I find interesting. $52 million, net earnings based on that article last week.
Right.
Okay. So you got a $40 million or two $20 million a year players. You're eating into that profit. Okay. So it's not as easy to run a team as people think. After we had that discussion about buying the team last year or last week, you know what I mean? I started thinking, like,
Okay, so the Yankees, they clear about $7 million, but they have 700 plus million in revenue. So
Right.
that supports their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and then plus revenue sharing down to the Pirates side, that revenue sharing is part of that. So, it's hard for a team like the Pirates to add the kind of players that we want them to add.
Well, there are
still be profitable. There
are some things coming up, like they got to renegotiate a lease with PNC Park.
Right.
That could get contentious. And if God forbid, there's a salary cap that's talked about, that could ruin all his plans, because now he's going to have to sell some more. So
right.
So I think those two things, I believe that those two things could push him out. I believe that.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a setup here for him to sell the team. And the perfect storm is it's not as if you didn't lose the fan base a couple years ago, but then you had the Skeens miracle last year.
Right.
And now it's kind of everybody's settling in after this offseason to the complete garbage, rotting, steaming pile of garbage that the offseason was.
Right.
And the platitudes coming out of Ben Cherington's mouth. Poor guy. I feel bad for him, but stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Go get quit.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. Right. He knows what he's doing.
He can't get a job anywhere
There's
else.
no way. He's got to
just
get
riding it out.
Yeah. He's got to bring home the bacon as long as he can.
That's all. That's all he's doing. I mean, you can't. I don't think you can fault any of these guys in the organization, because they know what they're working for.
Right.
They're just trying to put a product out there to get enough people in the stands and try to make a positive out of a negative.
I think what's happening is Ben Cherington is literally trying to figure out what to say every day just to keep his job. Because I think
he's probably trying to find a way not to say anything.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
Okay, you could go down that road as well.
Just trying to stay out of the limelight.
Fellas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go for it.
Is it draft week? Are we really spending all this time on the Pirates?
We're about done with the Pirates.
We're about done with them. I want to address what Chris Chada says here.
Besides, I'm just watching hockey.
There's nothing they can do to make him sell. Yeah, I don't think there's anything they can do to force him to sell the team unless right. Cook up a Dan Snyder situation.
Yeah, unless he comes out, some vulgar language to a woman or to a person of color.
Right.
Then he would have to get out.
Yeah, which I doubt's going to happen.
No, he's not. He's probably the least popular guy anywhere. I don't think he has any friends.
I'm just saying, you heard it here first. I don't have any inside knowledge, but my gut is telling me that we're close to the point where Nutting is just gonna he can't hold on to this team any longer, making the money he's making without spending more money, without having some real issues.
So you heard it here first. We're close.
Yes.
And we'll keep coming back to that.
That's right. We're close and we'll keep coming back to that. Marvin Hamilton says yes. Okay. Let's move on to something that we are really looking forward to.
Yes.
Which is
very much so.
Draft time. It is draft time on Thursday. And this is a reminder that Thursday night in the 7-ish, 8-ish time frame.
8, we will be going live.
Did we check on when the draft starts?
I checked. It's 8:00.
Okay. So
now they probably won't make a pick until like 8:20.
Yeah.
But that'll give us time to make fun of like the commissioner and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and eat some pizza from Slice in New York.
Well, isn't it being held in Green Bay?
Yes.
So we'll get to make fun of Green Bay.
Right. Yeah.
And, we're hosting it next year.
Yeah.
Not right here in Monroeville.
Yeah. We'd
not
like
the studio.
Yeah.
But
could you imagine stuffing all those people in here?
Yeah. They'll probably do something like bring out all the Walter Payton Man of the Year, or stuff like that.
Yeah. All that good stuff. Whoever died this year will get a tribute video.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So draft time. No close to the Aaron Rodgers situation. Now here's something. I said this a few weeks back. You guys poo-pooed me because you always do. I feel like it's your job. I said, I think it's possible that Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. Wouldn't you know it? People are saying they think he's going to retire now. I think he's retiring.
Okay.
Did you heard his interview on Pat McAfee?
He was stoned during that interview, by the way.
You think so?
Did you see how glassy his eyes were?
No, I didn't.
They look like our eyes every day senior year.
Did we talk about that, or was that since our last?
Every day,
Did we talk about that Pat McAfee interview, or was that since our last show?
That was since our last show. Yeah.
So here's where I stand on that, guys. To me, after hearing what he had to say, I want nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
I agree with you.
You know, he obviously does not have his mind on football.
No.
And that's not what we need here.
No.
I agree.
You know? And I don't know. The Steelers put themselves in this situation. They seem to enjoy it. So it's kind of sad that this is where the Steelers are now. But they've always had a problem with the quarterback position ever since Ben. Scored by Washington Capitals, by the way.
Well, Amy May comes in and says, I want Shador.
Yep. I don't know. I was watching some tape.
Tell you what, the one thing, when I heard him speak, I love his moxie. He's like, you guys don't know how good I am.
Yeah, well,
you
that's
have no idea. I like to hear that,
that's,
personally. I love it.
That's his father talking.
I know.
That's the way Dion
so
was.
So what? If he backs it up and he dishes it out, good for him.
Well, the thing that's ridiculous about it is I agree with Steve. I think it's good that he's got a lot of confidence and a lot of bravado.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a double standard because he's Deion Sanders' son.
For sure.
And a lot of people don't like Deion Sanders. I don't know if you guys
even said that.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but Ashton Genty basically made a remark. You should draft me because I can do for your team what Saquon Barkley did for the Eagles.
That's a good thing.
You know what I mean?
Say. Yeah.
But, and everybody says like, oh, he's really focused in, but Shedeur Sanders is like,
he's
arrogant.
A diva. Yeah. He's a diva. Right, you don't want that on your team.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You're right. There is definitely some hatred.
I got to get this quote in. This is my buddy Sean from down at TJ's. Hey, Chris, I'm watching from Trader Joe's. So he's probably on his lunch break. I don't know. I don't know. But thanks for being here, Sean. I appreciate it.
Hey, Sean.
He's the meat man.
Shawnee
the meat man. I love it.
So thanks for being here, buddy. Stick around
for your meat down there.
The Trader Joe's segment happens in about 10 minutes. So hopefully you can continue.
Must be a hard job.
Yeah. I think he would be the first, and I would be the second.
Do you watch videos all day at work?
No.
Hey, Marvin likes Dart.
Yeah. Marvin's ready for the draft.
I say you can get Jackson Dart in the third round.
Chris Chada says, I saw a compilation of Kyle McCord combine throws. It was pretty horrible. Mike Lawrence drafting Green Bay. Make a lot of fun of Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry. Amy wants Shador. Marvin Harrison, he should walk away and the Steelers should move on. Way to go, Schwab. I agree completely. That's Marvin or Mike Lawrence talking about the Aaron Rodgers comments. Yeah. And yes, Marvin likes Jackson Dart. I saw just going back to Aaron Rodgers for one quick second. I think that I do think he's going to retire based on everything he said. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his personal life. He's not thinking about football. And I think what's going to happen is he's not a dumb guy. People demonize him all the time. And after watching that, the documentary on him, what was it called?
I watched one episode and couldn't bring myself to watch another two.
I'm stoned one.
Yeah, right.
Undercover stoned or something like that.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
I know. I watched it, but it doesn't matter.
Anyway, the point is, I think he's going to come to his senses and retire because he should.
Well, but
he really should.
But realize this: I think one of the things you're doing is you're trying to take credit. Which I understand.
Yeah, of course.
Rah.
Way to go, TD.
Yay me.
Yay. Way to go, TD.
Enigma.
That's right.
Right. But
hey, did you see Ted Jones's comment there? Put that up.
Yeah. Sanders 13-12 record gets his jersey retired. Perfect Steeler, mediocre. Anyway, go ahead. Finish your thoughts, Schwaber.
The bottom line
finish your insult, please.
Well, the bottom line with Aaron Rodgers is he doesn't want to retire. He's going to retire because nobody wants him.
Yeah.
Right.
That he deems worthy.
Well, he still has to come to the realization that has to happen.
He wants to go to a team like he wants to be Tom Brady,
right,
with the Bucs.
Of course he does. Yeah. Who doesn't want to be Tom Brady?
That's what he wants to be.
Which he can never be because Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with the Pats and then won a Super Bowl with the Bucs. It's not going to happen.
And he won a lot more than that.
But no team that's is that good wants him.
No.
And that's why he's going to retire.
No.
And honestly, I don't think he could take any of those teams to the Super Bowl.
No.
Anyway.
Not now.
Let's face it. He's not even Peyton Manning when it comes to that.
No.
And Manning was pretty much garbage on that team that he won for Denver.
Yeah, it was the defense. It was the defense.
So what are we doing here? Are we going to be each giving our Steelers first round draft pick? Or do you have something else planned for us this evening?
Well, what I do want to do is I want to talk about this Shedeur Sanders thing.
Okay.
So Because if you make the assumption that we're making that Rodgers is not coming here,
he's out.
And we all know that the Steelers, we've been saying that they'd be happy to slide into the year with Mason Rudolph. I disagree. I disagree with that. I think that they really do want Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
I think they want him.
Okay.
Now, Chris Chada on the Enigma, the doc was good. Enigma, Aaron Rodgers, showing how he had no one that believed him in his entire career, family included. I'm not a huge Aaron fan, but that was eye-opening, big chip on his shoulder. Right. That's where I come down with you on that one, Chris. I did look at his Sanders statistics last year.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for like almost 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns.
He's capable.
And 10 interceptions. Now, there was also some film I was watching on one of the football shows that showed that he has a little bit of some issues identifying some of the lanes. Like they compared him to Josh Allen as far as a running quarterback. And they showed,
that's a good comparison.
Well, well, what I'm saying is what they said was, here's a lane that opens up when he's dropping back to pass that Josh Allen would shoot right through, but he doesn't recognize it, and he has a tendency to roll out to his left, circle around. So what teams have been doing is running a guy across the line over to the left, putting pressure on him on the right, and then sacking him. So to me, that's coachable stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at
on the Steelers.
That's a whole other story. Right. I know.
You gotta factor that in.
That's the shame of this whole thing.
You absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if you're going to draft a quarterback, you have to draft them in the first round.
Yeah.
Everybody who wins the Super Bowl, maybe with the exception of Jalen Hurts, is almost always a first round pick.
Yeah.
Brady,
Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Mark Ripien. We're going back like 30 years. That's 3
out of the last 55.
Yeah, whatever.
Good job, guys.
But
good job.
Your point is well taken. Is you need to get a talented guy who's high ranked.
How about this? Every Steeler victory in the Super Bowl was from a first round.
Okay, that makes much better sense because it's true. But I'm not saying that. I still stand my ground and say they need to shore up that defensive line. They need to get a running back.
That's the smart pick.
Right. But what I'm looking at is Tomlin thinks that he can make the defense, in spite of their failures, setting a record for giving up points in consecutive playoff games. In spite of their failures, thank you, my love. Mm-hmm. In spite of their failures, he can make a defense.
Thanks, Lauren.
He can make a defense, perform well.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants a quarterback like Sanders. I think Tomlin is dying to prove that he can coach a quarterback up. So will Sanders fall to 21? I think it's unlikely.
Maybe here's the deal.
But they could trade up.
I think he will.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to trade up for him. If he falls to them, honestly, I don't have a problem with that pick.
He's going to fall to them.
If he falls to them and they pick him, I'm okay with that. And I would be just as okay if they took a defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. But that's really it. I think those are the only two positions that the Steelers have to be looking at. Either they need to shore up their defensive line to make that defensive line better because it needs help. It's a little porous now. Or they need to just go for the quarterback again and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ted Jones says he rolls out just like Pickett. No thanks. Although I think he's better than Pickett, but you're right.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit faster.
Marvin chimes in and says DK and Pickens want the Steelers to get someone better than Mason.
Yeah, they do.
Of course they do. I mean, they're not going to say that publicly. No, Sassy, you can't have some meatballs.
But there's no saying that Shedeur Sanders would be better than him right away.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm not convinced that the Steelers are not going to try to get Shedeur Sanders. I think they're enamored with him.
I hear you.
And looking at his statistics, he's pretty good. I mean, I know their record was bad, and I think the whole retiring the jersey thing was kind of stupid.
Oh yeah, real dumb.
Yeah, but at the same time, Sassy's trying to eat our Trader Joe's snack time. At the same time,
that's our mascot.
At the same time, you know what? let's draft him. Why not?
That's what I'm saying.
Why not? Screw it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Well, here's the
All
thing.
this talk
We know
about
what they
wait
need.
till next year to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
You don't wait. If this is the guy you want, you go get it.
It'll be another Paul Skeens situation. People go to watch Shador Sanders and TJ Watt. You know?
What I was going to say is, if they do draft him, do you think they could get Dion, the coach of the secondary?
I'm sure Dion will be. Yeah, there'll be a lot of Dion sightings in Pittsburgh.
That would be hilarious.
No doubt.
That would be great fun.
No doubt about that. Okay, folks, that leads us to
Yeah.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
Yes, it is Trader Joe's snack time. What does that mean? Well, everybody that watches our show on a regular basis knows that I work at Trader Joe's down in East Liberty in the city of Pittsburgh. It's a fantastic grocery store, fantastic place to work. Love the people there. Hope Sean's still watching.
Sean the Meat Man.
They did not pay us for this, so it's not a paid sponsorship, but I did get permission. And what do? I bring home a Trader Joe's product just about every week. We sample it. We give our honest opinion. So there's some things. Last week was a riot.
Mm-hmm.
The chicken mole.
Chicken mole.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Chicken
dump.
mole.
The dump comment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been spot. It was spot on.
Did you see the TikTok reel that was like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
if you can get past the fact that you feel like you might have just eaten shit, it
Yeah.
tastes pretty good.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a good one.
That was hilarious. So this week it is Trader
true.
Joe's snack time, pineapple, teriyaki, chicken, meatballs, which I'm going to add to the stage right there. That's what the
balls.
package looks like.
We
Now,
got chicken balls.
full disclosure, they did demo these last
You've
week.
tried them.
I've tried them and I like them, and I thought, well, why not? So
Why not?
here's a whole bunch. We just each have an individual fork because we
Okay.
don't
Well,
need
at
the.
least we got our own fork.
At least we can stay away from your germs.
I let Lauren know that
Yeah.
you were finally satisfied
You-
with the way that
Your
she
airplane germs.
with the way she delivers it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you have one?
No, I didn't have one. All right, let's see what this is all about.
Pineapple teriyaki.
It looks
chicken
like just a regular old kind of square looking meatball.
Mhm.
Pretty good.
Looks like a piece of sausage, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that we did down at the store when they demoed them was we put a little bit of soyaki sauce on them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of this world. But I just wanted you guys to have
Yeah.
this because it's pineapple teriyaki.
By themselves, they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
They
Not
don't,
bad.
they don't need a sauce.
No,
I can
not
see
bad.
how a sauce could enhance it.
Mhm.
And these are not frozen. These are fresh in the meat section.
Okay.
So
Not bad.
Fresh. Ooh, not frozen.
fresh, not frozen.
But you could freeze them.
Chicken meatballs.
What
I
is
like
Pat?
it.
What is Pat talking about? Dr. Frankenstein lineage works for Trader Joe's.
Off
Yeah.
track. I
Yeah,
have
there
no
you go.
clue where we are there.
Don't you just paste it all together?
I have no idea.
No, you can't get there from here.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. No idea what's.
Hey, give me one more. Those were good.
There you go.
I normally don't double dip.
I'm going to leave them right
These
here.
are worth it. These are definitely a thumbs up.
Yep. So a thumbs up for the
Perfect.
pineapple teriyaki chicken meatballs.
Perfect for when you're sitting on the couch watching 3 hockey games at once.
Mhm.
You just reach over
Yeah.
for some balls, stick them right in your mouth.
Nothing like balls in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Especially when you're watching the puck go in.
No
Cer-
comment.
It's certainly better than a bowl of dump. Right.
It definitely
Mhm.
looks a lot better than that chicken mole.
Mhm.
I actually thought that chicken mole was really good.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about doing a tortilla, a soft flour tortilla thing.
Mm.
Maybe get some veggies in there or something.
You need to call it chicken mole.
Chicken mole.
Chicken mole.
Of course, that
Chicken
was
mole.
brought to us by
Mhm.
my lovely wife, the Pittsburgh Property Diva. You can find her at pittsburghpropertydiva.com. She prepares it for us every week. Thank you, darling. Let me get this down here and then let's move on.
Mm-hmm. Are we going back to the draft?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the draft.
Yeah,
so
we got to go back to the draft. We're not done there.
so do you want a quick another one real before I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
You're-
I actually do. Yeah, they're
I have a couple more packs of these upstairs if you guys want afterwards. We can make more if we eat them all.
I'll take one with me. I'll eat them on Thursday.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so
They are damn good.
Amy says Mark looks like he's in the dark. We'll deal with this later.
Yep.
Here in California, the Trader Joe's tote bags are super popular. Is that the case in Pittsburgh? There have been news stories
the old
on
tote bags.
You know what's funny is Trader Joe's, they have they have the little tote bags in pastel colors. I think we're sold out of them now, but it was like purple, pastel, purple, green, pink, and something else. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they were popular, but we were actually having people who were visiting Pittsburgh from California
Asking for them.
and they were like, our friends in California are telling us there's lines down the street for these bags. So we came here to this store and we're shocked there's no line for the bags.
Ooh.
So they would buy a bunch to take them home to California. But yeah, they're pretty.
I have the Trader
Good
Joe's.
secondary market.
I have the Trader Joe's where you can the refrigerated bag.
Oh,
yeah. Is it what color is it? Purple, yellow, orange?
I think that's a yellow one that I have.
Yeah, I have a purple one. They work really well.
Yeah, I do.
I got a Costco one. Sorry, guys.
They work well though. What I love is when people bring the big IKEA bags. I could do a whole show on how to shop and how not to shop at any grocery store.
IKEA bags, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down, man. I tell people every time they put those great big IKEA bags, they land it up there. First of all I'm doing is dumping the whole cart in there. Second of all, I'm like, look, why do you even need a bag like this for IKEA? You can't fit like a bed in this bag. Okay. So the other thing is, I'm going to give you this tip right now. Nothing pisses off the person at the checkout in any grocery store than the person who shops in their bag and brings the bag up there, because now I have to take all that out of the bag and then put it back in. Get a cart and hand me your bag. I'm there to serve.
See, I bag my own groceries, so I'm weird like that.
You know what you are? You're a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
I like my groceries packed a certain way. Only I can pack my groceries the way I
Sound
like.
like you get a little perturbed behind the counter.
Once in a while.
Yeah, he does. He's got a lot of anger there.
Yeah.
Not enough meatball breaks down
I'm
there.
not
at
alone.
DJ's.
Did you miss the video on happy customer service?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he did. Definitely did.
I always have a smile on my face.
Remember, customers always right.
Mike Lawrence says, I think you guys should have some yellow marshmallow peeps for dessert.
Oh, yeah, we should. Hey, happy Easter out there.
They're made in Pennsylvania. Chris Brockman on with Rich Eisman said the Steelers need to learn how to tank. Amy May says, I have a blue and red bag. Very nice. Steelers I still think they should draft defensive tackle or maybe even an edge rusher. But I just, like I was saying before, get you guys' thoughts on this. I think they're going to try to get Sanders. I think they might try to swing a trade. This is where
they don't trade up. That's the only thing that I hope they don't do.
I think that he's gonna absolutely make it to them at 21.
Yeah,
and they're gonna take him at 21. Yep.
I think there are a couple teams in there that might go for him,
because
like the Raiders, for example.
I don't think so. The Raiders are, they're hoping to get Ashton Genty. Although I've also heard the Jets or the Jaguars might be interested in Ashton Genty.
Sure. There are a lot of people interested in him.
But no, I mean, Shadur Sanders is going to fall. And to be honest, I don't really know why. I mean, I think this is very similar to like a Lamar Jackson kind of fall. Like
maybe,
and I think if he's there at 21, you can't pass on him and find out later that he's, a Lamar Jackson type talent.
But I do think he is a project like that, and that's my only concern.
Yeah. My
only concern is he's the project. He's coming to a place that is not good with projects when it comes to the quarterback. So it would be very interesting. Like I said, quarterback, I'm good with. I'd rather see them go nose tackle. Any of those guys that I talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, happy with any of those guys. So let's see where it falls. The other thing I'm starting to sour on, just in the draft in general, we'll talk about this more on Thursday. I hope they don't go running back at all.
There's first round
at all in the whole draft.
At all.
Yeah.
So you think Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell?
No, they need more than that.
No. I think they probably still need to go out and get somebody, but there are guys out there. Chubb's still out there, for example. just somebody to play. No, I don't think Jaylen Warren is a starting running back in the league, and I don't think him and Gainwell by themselves are good enough. I think they do need to get somebody, but I don't know. To spend a third round pick on a running back when you need other positions, you already kind of have a running back okay for this year. I don't know. Losing that second round pick was big, and I know it was worth it. I truly believe it's worth it, but I just don't think they have the luxury of doing that this year.
Yeah, so number 21 overall, number 83 in round 3,
Right.
number 123 in round 4, number 156 in round 5, 185 in round 6, and 229 in round 7.
Mm-hmm.
Their top 3 needs, defensive tackle, running back, and quarterback.
I think Ted's got it right on the money here. They'll get killed if Cam or Benton goes down. Absolutely right. Right on the money there, Ted. I think if that happens, they're going to be in deep trouble because all you're going to have to do is run right up the middle. Now, who knows? Maybe Patrick Queen does get better. Maybe Peyton Wilson does get better. But still, without having a stud defensive guy stopping some of those guys from pulling and getting out and making those blocks, you're in big trouble when it comes running the ball.
Yeah. Well, and this again, we've had this discussion many, many times over the years.
But,
Andy Weidl, the Andy
north.
Weidl effect. It's obvious that there was something going on because they started retooling that offensive line. If you're going to follow this, game plan, now's the time you got to start adding to the D line because it's aging.
Mm-hmm.
And
Watts, faded off last year, and
And Hayward, Hayward,
his best days could be behind.
I think there's a better chance Hayward gets injured again this year than not, just because of his age and the toll on his body. And what do you have after that? Really nothing.
Nothing. No.
So
Leal's gone, and Cam or Benton is okay,
right?
But I don't think that's enough.
No. So I really do think that unless in your case, if Sanders falls to them, that's my concern. Are they able to resist that urge? Because you don't think they are.
I don't think
if they
are.
like him, they will be thrilled to pick him if they like him. But nobody really knows that.
It seems like from reports that they like him.
Yeah, there's been a lot of, we didn't meet with him. Well, yeah, we did meet with him, sort of like things.
Well, I heard today
right.
they met with him for 6 hours.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then you hear they met with him for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he does have to fall to them. I mean, I think that
he's gonna fall.
Okay, so that's your prediction. Mm-hmm. I think that's a bigger if than Kenny Pickett falling to them. I knew.
Oh, you knew Kenny Pickett was going to fall to them.
Yeah, the question
never thought they would take him.
That's exactly right, and I did. I was
did.
They're taking.
You're like they're going to take him, and I'm like, they need an offensive lineman.
Yeah, Ted Jones says Watt is not going to last the whole year. I mean, odds are you're right on that one, especially without a second round pick. Is when they're talking about defensive line, he's talking about defensive line. So, look, Thursday night, 8:00, we will be live right here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We want you to join us. Put that draft on the television. Comment. Nothing is off limits. We're going to have quite a few hours just hanging out, eating pizza, talking about the draft. So we want you all to, subscribe to our channel on YouTube at the Sports Porch Podcast. And of course, you can listen to the podcast every week after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your freaking podcast.
Anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we're not a subscription service, so we don't charge any money. It's not 99 cents or $1.99 or $4.99. We're always going to remain free. If you want to support us, listen to our podcasts on iHeart or Spotify. Because there are some ads on those. That's how we generate a little bit of revenue to offset the costs. But what you're going to get here is you're going to get an unbiased opinion. We're not insiders. We don't have locker room access.
No commercials.
We have our entire lives. No commercials when you're watching us live. We have our entire lives watching sports. We have a 35-year history together arguing about sports and other things.
We had some epic battles.
We did have some epic battles.
Combined between the three of us, we have roughly 155 years of experience.
Wow.
Roughly.
I think it's a little less than 155 years for us. Oh, no. Well, yeah, you're right. Because of our ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 155 combined years.
What I think is funny, is what we do here.
Which means I've seen every Steelers Super Bowl win ever.
You have. You have.
Mhm.
Just like Mark's seen every Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl win ever.
I sure have.
And the Philadelphia Flyers Stanley Cups also.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I enjoy those. I enjoy those too.
Even though that was 50 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember that?
I do.
Is it
Yeah,
just like
of course
yesterday?
he does.
I mean,
just like I remember Super Bowl 9.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember actually watching any of the games, but I do remember the Bobby Clark with the no teeth picture. And, I remember going to like McDonald's and getting a Bobby Clark little stick that was a pen.
Nice.
If you had it
Stuff
now,
like
it'd be
that.
worth $1.
Nice. Nice. Now, Ted Jones says he's in his 70th year. Respect, Ted. We give you a lot of respect for that. I actually
We
remember
like the old guys here, Ted.
I remember
You're
the Redskins' first Super Bowl. I remember the Diesel getting that 44-yard touchdown pass. I remember the play. I was watching it with my dad. We were screaming our heads off. I also remember the Marcus Allen run the next year in the Super
Rigo.
Bowl that
That
broke
was
our
no
hearts.
good.
Yeah, that was no good.
Yeah,
So-
but Rigo had his run the year before. So
Yeah, he
that's
did.
all that matters.
Rigo was awesome. He was awesome. So
I do remember that run. That was
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
that was
incredible.
that was awesome.
yeah, it was
I was
incredible.
like, look at that old guy run.
Yeah, and he was just he just bowled people over. But yeah, that's what we do here. We give you our honest opinion, and more often than not, I think even though we're not insiders and we're not in the locker room, we're also not shills for the teams. We're not afraid of being delisted from the stock
Right.
exchange, so to speak.
Right.
Unless they pay us.
You can't tell
that'll
us
be
that
part
we're
of the
not.
contract.
You can't tell us that we're not allowed in the locker room.
That's
We've
right.
never been allowed in the locker room.
But more often than not, a lot of our gut feelings end up coming true, which I think is funny. I mean, after doing this for 7 years, it's
Yeah.
kind of like, who saw that coming? So,
Right.
so we're here to talk about the things that they don't want to talk about on sports radio.
We're not
and
afraid of anything.
We're not afraid of anything. That's exactly right.
No fear.
No fear whatsoever. And speaking of somebody who's not afraid of anything, that would be to my right, Hockey Jesus, world famous Hockey Jesus, who you can follow at the Sports Porch Podcast on YouTube. And usually during the regular season, he preaches his sermon after every single Penguins game
They're
on the
over.
iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. You just dropped a Pens end of the season YouTube
I
video.
did.
and
You got
podcast,
to listen
right?
to it. It's damn good.
Did you upload it? And I haven't had a chance yet, but did you upload it into the podcast stuff?
Yeah, it's uploaded.
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
it's in there.
Yeah, I just didn't look.
Yeah, I got the audio and in the video out.
So we're starting off right away with Chris Chada, one of our big fans out there on YouTube. HJ, do you agree with the Pens president GM's remarks, paraphrasing here, that the team is perfectly positioned for next year and the future? I already know the answer to this. By the way, the dude looks like he's 25. Kyle Dubas, right?
Yeah, he's going to look like our new mayor, Corey O'Connor.
Yeah.
They're going. I think they're going to just interact together. Like some days Dubas is going to be the mayor, and then some days Corey O'Connor is going to run the Penguins. It's going to be quite fun when Corey wins the mayor race here. But I did actually listen to the 33 minutes that he gave the press essentially.
Mhm.
Right.
I think you're taking his remarks a little too highly. I think he thinks they're better positioned this year than last year. I still think he has a lot of trepidation over hitting all these guys right. And by these guys, I mean like the Ponomaroffs, the Koivunens, although the Koivunen's definitely in next year. He was talking about Tristan Braz, who didn't come up last year, but he's a guy that's got to hit this year. And Rutger McGroarty. These are guys, they need some secondary guys now. And 2 or 3 of these guys got to hit and got to be great on the third line. And I'm not so sure that Kyle Dubas thinks that he's got the guys yet. But he does have the draft picks, and he is going to be able to have some money in the postseason to be able to make some moves. He did actually say that he's not going to go after anybody who's 30. So he's not going to go after, somebody who might, be kind of past their prime, but affordable.
Mhm.
That guy's off the, they're not going after that guy anymore. They're going after 23 to 25-year-olds who can play on the third and fourth line. Guy that I like, you can watch him play for Toronto in the playoffs, is Nyes. He's awesome. He's going to be a guy that Toronto is not going to be able to sign next year. I would love to get him on the team. He would be an incredible get for the Pens. I think he's a restricted free agent, so that means they might have to trade or give some money up to get him, because there's no way Toronto is going to be able to offer what other teams are going to offer him.
Are they going to keep Marner, Toronto?
Yeah. No, I actually think he'll. That's a good question. I think they want to keep him, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they'll probably like you guys were saying in the other show, where there's a way to find the money, they'll find the money, and plus the salary cap's going up, so you got that to play with an additional about $7 million. So I think he's optimistic about the future, but no, I don't think he thinks for a second that they're going to make the playoffs next year. They would have to hit right on everything. The one thing he did say that I thought was interesting is when he wants to make the playoffs, he doesn't want to be these teams that squeak into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm, right.
Like he says, he wants to be the playoff. He wants to go into the playoffs as if, they're considered a contender for the Stanley Cup.
Right.
And that doesn't happen in a year.
No.
So I think those two, if you take if you take everything he said, you put it in a salad and you toss it, I think you're going to get a pretty good salad, but you're not going to get that best Caesar salad with that great dressing and the perfect croutons.
Something HJ knows all about, tossing salads.
It's more like decent mixed greens.
Yeah, maybe a good chopped Cobb salad with just the right amount of meat and eggs.
I'm thinking Cobb salad might be too good.
Yeah, right.
Maybe more like a what do you call it?
Like a house salad?
No, you know what I'm talking about? The wedge.
Oh, yeah, the wedge salad. Yeah. I don't like a wedge salad.
Yeah,
I want my salad
wedge.
all chopped up. I just want to be able to dig right into it.
I used to love the wedge with the blue cheese and the bacon on top of it.
No, you're right about the blue cheese and the bacon.
Yeah.
But I like to eat my salads with the spoon. So, that's just the way I am.
You eat your salads with a spoon?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Don't you?
Well, that would be kind of difficult. You need the fork to get the lettuce and the cucumber to lift.
You get it all chopped up. You get all those goodies in there, right in the spoon. It's great. You should try it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. You'll eat more salads.
I feel like I'm never going to try that.
Okay, well, don't. But let's talk about what Mike had to say.
Mike says, HJ, do you think our goalie situation will be okay next season?
I think that's a good way of putting it in a positive way, Mike. I think it'll be okay. The one thing Dubas did say was he thought that both Ned and Jari would be competing with others for the starting job. But we all know that Murashov, who's their best goalie, right now he's not even in the AHL. He's playing for the Wheeling Nailers. They're in the playoffs. And Bloomquist is actually playing for the AHL. Mark, you'd like this. The Pens are actually playing against the Flyers in the first round. Yeah.
All right. The Phantoms?
The Phantoms, yeah. The Lehigh Valley Phantoms.
Alex Bump.
Yeah.
Scored a goal first game.
He's good.
Yeah.
The counselor would love to talk to you about Alex Bump. He's got a lot of Alex Bump stories.
Oh, yeah?
He's from Minnesota.
He likes Bump.
Well, you'd have to talk to him about it. Just be prepared to talk for about a half an hour. Just be ready for it.
Yeah, we already know.
The goalie situation, I think, is dire still. Because if he wants to bring both of those guys back, I don't like that at all.
No.
I think one of those two guys has to go. Ned or Jari have to go. You got to bring up somebody else, whether it's Larson or whether it's Bloomquist, anybody else younger. Got to have a chance to play and start. We've seen that Ned is not a starting goalie. There's no reason to bring him back as a backup. And Jari, look, he can play great when nothing matters. And when everything matters, he's garbage. And if you go back and listen to my analysis, you'll see that Jari actually at the end of the year kind of helped things. But at the beginning of the year when they needed him on that run, he was nowhere to be found. They started off the first 5 games, did great, and then the rest of it was all garbage because of Jari, and that was really the end of the season. That early. I mean, early. There was a time where about the end of December where they could have made a run. They were trending towards 82 points, and they couldn't do it. So.
Yeah, Jari, I believe, led the league in first shot goals this year.
I think he's given more first shot goals than Patrick Waugh did his whole career. Right.
That's crazy.
I bet
that's true.
I bet that's true. I didn't look it up, but I'll look that up. The one thing everybody out there should know is you got to be watching these damn hockey playoffs. It's great hockey.
Yeah, we got Montreal and Washington on in the studio right now. 13 minutes left to go in the second. Washington's up 1-0.
I have to admit that a lot of the games have been blown out. They've been blowouts, which is surprising. Winnipeg and St. Louis, they're playing now, but in the first game, Winnipeg scored 5. St. Louis was actually up in the third period in that game, and Winnipeg came back to win. That was a tough loss for St. Louis. But St. Louis is playing tough again tonight. And Colorado and Dallas, it was 5-1, but that was close. It was 2-1. It was 2-1 until they got an empty net. And then you see they scored with 0.1 seconds left. Actually, that was the Vegas game. They scored with 0.1 seconds left.
If you're a Stars fan, though, that was bad. That's a bad game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the Stars are playing without Heiskanen, their number one defenseman, and Jason Robertson, who's probably their second best scorer, at times hit the best scorer on the team. Right. When you have those kinds of injuries, that's really hard to overcome. And that's why you'll see New Jersey lose to Carolina, because they're playing without Hughes. Right. And they have been for a while, but you just can't overcome that. No. The competition in the playoffs are just that good. Toronto surprised me. Toronto really got the Stars shining. I was really surprised at the way everybody played for them.
Well, that's the thing. Is Toronto going to have another early exit, and then they have to think about, blowing up the team? Or does Toronto maybe have the best team in the East, and could they go all the way?
Well, so Toronto, if they get past Ottawa, which I think they will, that's a tough series for them because they like the battle. And that series is going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of fisticuffs going on there. And then the winner of that gets to play against one of the Florida teams. That's a tough draw. Now, versus Carolina, they get to play against a beat up New Jersey team, and they get the winner of this Capitals Montreal team, and they're not that great. So, I think the lower half of the draw is kind of garbage, which, I think, I don't know. I think they need to do something about, but I'm okay with the way it is. What'd Chris Chata say here?
Well, first of all, Mike Lawrence is saying not much better than playoff hockey, which I think you agree with. Does the NHL institute new rules in the offseason like the NFL or MLB? Any rules you'd like to see changed? Where do we
even begin? Yeah. Let me start with the thing that this is my mission in life. Before I die, I want to see the NHL get rid of that third column. No longer is it wins, losses, and ties, where they get the loser point. It's wins and losses. That's all I want to see on a damn stat sheet. You can keep the loser point. I don't like the loser point. I wish they'd get rid of it. But you can keep the loser point. Just don't show it in the damn standings.
Okay,
it drives me absolutely nuts.
So let me get this straight. Just make sure I understand this before I start asking some questions. And we'll make this the primary thing that we're talking about, and then we'll move on to what we're watching.
Great.
So if you win, you get 2 points.
That's right. In regulation.
Right. If you lose, you get no points.
In regulation.
But if you tie and lose in overtime, you get a loser point.
If you tie in regulation and you lose in overtime or in the shootout, you still get a point.
Okay. But if you win, do you get 2?
And if you win, you always get 2.
So a win is always 2. Okay.
Always 2.
So if you tie, then you both get a point.
You don't tie and tie anymore because they got the overtime and then they have the shootout. Somebody always wins and somebody always loses.
The problem
is,
how many shots do you get on the shootout?
Infinite. But it's the best. It's the best out of the first 3, and then it keep going
sudden death.
Then it's sudden death. Okay, so in other words,
it's not sudden death. It's both teams get the shoot.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah.
So in other words, the bottom line is there are no ties in the NHL.
Not anymore. There used to be.
Okay.
And would you rather got one?
Would you rather them just bring back the tie, the overtime, like a 5-minute overtime and a tie?
Well, if they do, then they would have to keep that column.
I understand. I think my impression every time
the third column now is the loser point column.
Right, I get it.
It's not the tie column; it's a loser point.
They're
column.
Losses that you're getting a point for. So what I'm saying is this entire time that you've been harping on this, which is pretty much the entire time it's been in effect. You're very consistent on that. And I happen to agree with you. I'm just saying this entire time, basically. What I don't understand is if you lose a game, you get a point, period. Like, what is the thought process behind you win? What is the thought process behind instead of just going on straight records.
Yeah.
Then because every other, I mean, you don't get points in Major League Baseball. It's your record.
Yeah.
Every sport
Right.
that I'm aware of.
Right.
Team sport. So what is the thought process behind before they got rid of the ties, assigning points? Was it just too hard to make tiebreakers and shit?
Well, there are a couple things, and I'll just give you the brief version
Yeah,
of it.
gloss over it. Just give me an understanding.
People used to play for the tie to get the point.
Okay.
So they wanted to get rid of that.
Okay.
So they made an incentive to get a point by winning.
Right.
And they knew that they couldn't play this unlimited amount of overtime. So that's why they instituted the shootout.
Okay.
It's because it's a shorter period, and and actually it's 3-on-3 on overtime also.
Got it.
So the chance of scoring in overtime is higher. But teams have figured out how to play the overtime, and it's become kind of a gimmick.
It goes to shootout more often than not.
No, it actually, I would say, I would have to look it up,
Probably
but
50-50.
I bet it's probably 60-40.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably more games get done in overtime. But if they got rid of it and they just had a win and a loss, then that would be more. That would be more exciting.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I understand
because teams might go for it in the regulation.
Teams would play for the tie, which is kind of easy to do if you really concentrate on just slapping the puck around.
Right.
Just keep it away from the net.
Well,
you don't care about scoring.
If you're in the lead and you get a point, you're always going to stay above somebody else.
Yeah. Well, why don't they just eliminate the tie and make it a win-loss record? You know, it would be, and that would be getting rid of that third column.
I agree.
Get rid of the fucking points.
I would love to see them do that,
because like when you're talking
they'll
about,
never do that.
I get what you're saying, but when you're talking about they need to average 90, they need to get to 91, 92 points to make the play.
Points to make
you know, you're doing a lot of calculations. I get it.
Yeah.
It for me, as like I'm watching in our studio, we've got like a 90-inch television down here. That's a great television.
Yeah.
This is a great TV to watch hockey on.
It is. I agree. I can see it perfect.
Everything is big. Yeah, right. So I think I'm going to watch some playoff hockey.
You absolutely should be watching some playoff.
I actually am, in a way.
That's a high stick.
So the point is, as somebody who wants to try and increase the time that I watch hockey, because the NBA sucks, the Pirates suck, and football is only a few weeks a year, and hockey is exciting.
Yeah.
For me, entering the sport more as a fan, this whole thing, it just convolutes it.
I agree.
It's like so the NHL is more of a niche fan base, and it's kind of like, but they want to grow.
Yeah.
You have to simplify some things.
That's why I think they need to get rid of that third column, because it confuses people.
Yeah, I'll give you my solution.
Go for it, Schwabini.
My solution. Now, keep in mind, I'm giving you my solution with the realization that they are never going to get rid of the 1 point.
No, they're
2-0 Washington now, by the way.
Yeah, on a high stick. I thought it was high stick.
Yeah, they're never going to get rid of the 1 point. But here's how I think you can create a little more.
Why do you think they're not going to get rid of it briefly? Just tradition?
To be honest, I think it's all about like, it's such a physical and such a demanding game. And I feel like they feel like if you finished the game in regulation tied, you've earned a point. I think that's the way they look at it.
I could believe that.
Okay.
I don't agree with that, but I can believe that would be the thing.
But I have a couple ways where I think A, it could make the game more exciting, and B, I think that I could create greater separation between the good teams and the bad teams.
Well, that's the other thing they don't want.
Right.
But
so
aside.
So I like the idea of regulation win is 3 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
This, yeah.
So then everybody's going to try to win in regulation, right? Then I like the idea of, look, you're saying maybe 60% there's a goal on 3-on-3 in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
I say make the overtime 10 minutes, because I think that goes up to like 85%.
Yeah.
And then that way you have much less shootouts, and more of the game ends on a game-winning goal.
But I'll tell you what, correct me if I'm wrong here, But if you make it a 10-minute 3-on-3, that's a lot of skating.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
It's demanding. Yeah.
And the thing
I mean,
is,
it's a lot of skating 5-on-5, but 3-on-3, man, that's
usually
that's wear and tear.
the other thing is they're on the other side of the change too.
Right.
So that even makes it harder.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, Chris, you probably don't watch a lot of the 3-on-3 overtimes, right?
No.
Essentially, what it is one team possesses the puck most of the overtime, and the other team just gets flat out tired.
Gets tired because they control the puck and they can't get off the ice.
Right, and they can't get off the ice. So then what my feeling is that if it just so happens that it lasts like that and nobody scores for 5 minutes, you got a pretty good likelihood someone's going to score in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
Because they're going to be just dead tired, or finally that team gets the puck and now the other team's dead tired.
Yeah.
You know?
I would like to find a way to make the hockey in the overtime more realistic. So you could say they're a good overtime team.
Mhm.
Now, if they're a good overtime team, it doesn't mean anything in the playoffs.
No, it's actually
It's a gimmick.
It's sort of similar to the shootout, like where
is.
you basically, if you have a couple great skill players, then you
put
can
them
be
out there.
You can be really good in the overtime,
or people who can be out there for a very long time and not get tired.
Right.
That also helps. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, we will.
So that's what I'd like to see. That's a very long-winded answer to what rules I'd like to see changed. I think that's absolutely the point. Scoring system needs to be simplified so that you can get more regular fans involved.
And that was Hockey Jesus, who you can follow on our podcast and also on our YouTube channel at the Sports Porch Podcast anytime. When's what are we looking at as far as playoff sermons, HJ?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night?
I got to get one in before Survivor.
Yeah. Okay.
Wednesday night.
That was
Here we are, that goddamn
Wednesday
Survivor stuff again. Okay, Hockey Jesus, thank you very much. You're watching the Sports Porch Black and Gold all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And of course, I'm going to drop the podcast after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. Please go over to YouTube right now. Subscribe at the Sports Porch Podcast. Subscribe, click the notification button. That way you'll know at 7:30 p.m. every Monday night when we go live. Our last segment of the night, what we are watching, the Grand Schwabini. Take it away. Describe what this is. This is a public service that we do for you.
Absolutely. It's a public service. We're here to serve you. And we do so with knowledge, and we do so with love. We will let you know what you should be watching, what you shouldn't be watching, thereby, ergo, giving you the time needed back in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Those minutes, hours that you waste trying to find the right program, watching trailers, don't need to do it anymore. Just follow our lead, and we will make sure that you are happy.
That's right. We're here for your happiness. The only qualification is that you finish the season that you are currently watching, or if it's a movie or one episode documentary, you got to finish the whole thing. You got to suffer through it before you can give a review. One more hockey comment here from Mike Lawrence, a faithful watcher and listener. How about in a 5-minute overtime, the first team scores, the other team gets 5 minutes to try and tie the score? We can address that at a different time, but I don't think that sounds like a good idea. Not me.
Not good.
No, I like the
You got to find a way to get rid of that loser point.
Yeah. So, okay, what we're watching, I'm going to start off with the Grand Schwabini.
All right.
This time around, the Grand Schwabini just finished.
The White Lotus season 3.
No spoilers, please.
So neither of you have watched it.
I'm going to watch it. I may watch it on the
gonna
plane.
watch it, yeah.
I may watch it on the plane out to San Francisco.
You get about halfway through it.
So I was talking earlier.
It got bad reviews, didn't it?
It kind of got bad reviews. A lot of people were saying it's very slow, and it is kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
And that not a lot happens. I don't know if I agree with that, but the bottom line is it's not as good as season 1 and season 2, but I still thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I like the whole premise of, these people come together from completely different walks of life.
Yeah.
And they're all on a resort together, and how things kind of intertwine a little bit.
Where was this resort? Do you remember?
This was in Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
Or Thailand.
Thailand. Sorry, Thailand.
Okay.
Thailand. and it was interesting. It was good. It was a little different than your normal White Lotus, I guess. So I thought it was good. There was a little bit of intertwining of two characters from the last White Lotus.
One? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the MO. They do that.
Yeah, and all the new people I thought were pretty entertaining. So
so you're giving it a thumbs up.
I'm giving it a thumbs up
in spite of the reviews.
Yeah, in spite of the reviews. I mean, I would say this. I would say I wouldn't have my expectations super high, but I think if you go into it with low expectations, you'll enjoy it.
Now Max is in the house. Max says everything happens last episode, snooze fest until the final episode. Good binge, bad to wait.
Yeah,
every week.
I made him not tell me about it. He was like, "Are you watching White Lotus?" I said, "No."
Yeah,
I mean, look,
immediately got nothing back.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you can say that like everything happens in the last episode, but it couldn't have happened in the last episode if it wasn't all teed up for 7 episodes.
Yeah, it usually does that. Well, it was like
right,
that on the other two, I thought,
I kind of feel like...
But I got to watch all of those like whenever I wanted, the last two, so...
Yeah, now that it's all over, you can go through.
Yeah.
Now you can do it. Yeah, I kind of feel like Surface is that way, that a lot of things are being teed up. I still haven't watched the last episode yet. Okay, HJ... The White Lotus season 3, the Grand Schwabini gives it a thumbs up. HJ is...
I bet you've not watched this.
No.
Well, Amy May has a comment for Max.
Uh-oh. I like White Lotus. I disagree with Max.
There you go. Okay. Well, hey,
it takes all
you're allowed to do that on this show. We allow disagreements.
Amy, that's my son. Could be fighting words.
Just keep it. That's right. Just keep it reasonable. Keep it reasonable. All right. HJ is watching something on Hulu.
Yes, this is on Hulu. It's called Beyond Utopia.
Okay.
Now, the reason I watched this was because there is a certain documentary on a person who does a lot of documentaries. Documentary girl on Instagram. She's got a big following, and she's always talking about. We
should have her on the show.
She's always talking about documentaries, but she said this one by far is the best one there is.
Really?
Of this particular subject or ever?
No, of documentaries in general.
I'll be watching.
And I love documentaries, so I'm like, well, I gotta watch.
How many episodes?
It's just one.
Oh,
it's like a movie.
Oh, it's a movie,
in
like
this
hour
case,
and a half.
It's like a movie. It's almost 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
But what's really interesting about this is they have raw footage of inside of North Korea that they got smuggled out. So there's no reenactment going on. And so the premise is there's a family that wanted to get out of North Korea, okay, and they had to make it to South Korea, but the way they had to do it was through China, through Vietnam, through Laos, and then into Thailand. So it's like this crazy route that they have to go through. This happened right before COVID. They filmed this, and it's wild. Like they even go through. I didn't know the history. I should know the history of North and South Korea, why they got separated and all that. They went through the whole thing, and it was actually pretty fascinating how the communists took over the North and the South became democratic. Basically, it was because of World War II. Not a spoiler alert there, but for a while, North Korea at the top was doing much better than South Korea, and everybody kind of wanted to be there until Russia fell apart and they weren't giving North Korea any more money. And then since then, they've had people who've defected who said they literally have watched people die of starvation on the streets. So I thought it was very good. Was it the best documentary I've ever seen? Maybe.
Not Baby Reindeer.
No. What I liked about it was they had the raw footage.
I love that show.
They had the raw footage of them kind of hiking through these jungles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. They were able to get that out because people, in order to smuggle it out, they could die. Literally die.
Killed.
Yeah, killed in an
Leave
instant.
it to the Grand Schwabini to take a tragic human story associated with baby reindeer.
Yeah. There's actually another story that's kind of intertwined with this of a woman who's trying to get her son out. And that's a different story altogether, but it's worth watching.
Okay. Okay, so Utopia on Hulu, you're giving it a 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
You know,
definitely. If you like documentaries,
well,
it's a must watch.
You know damn well I'm watching it.
Yeah, it's a must watch.
I'm having a problem though because I got my Hulu subscription back because I wanted to watch like Paradise and some of the things that you guys have suggested. I can't get it to work on my television. I've been trying really hard. I'll get it there. I'll get it there. But because there's a Palm Island or Palm something. Doesn't matter. There's one that my wife wants to watch as well and all that stuff. So beyond Utopia,
I'm enjoying Hulu. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, it's good.
The only thing I'm not enjoying is I'm kind of wishing I would pay the $16.99 and not the $9.99.
The ads.
I made the plunge and I don't do the ads anymore.
Yeah.
Once you do it, like you're not going to go back.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to suck my way through it, but I don't think I can make it another month.
It's tough.
It's hard to suck your way through things.
I've done it before.
Now, what are you watching?
This is something.
Maybe a documentary?
Yes, it is a documentary.
What is it?
The Comeback. The 2004.
Wait a minute.
You watched that?
Wait a minute here.
No, you're not allowed to watch that. You're an Orioles fan.
Let me take a stab at it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Let's try it.
Red Sox go down 3-0 to the Yankees.
No way.
Come all the way back. What do you think? Did I
You're on to something.
Did I cover it?
You're on to something.
Did I cover it?
Yes.
What about Johnny Damon and the boys when they were down 3-0? They were out at a bar just having beer and wings. And some people thought that wasn't the way to go, but hell, they came back.
No.
They won.
No. That's not part of it.
And then Schilling got a bloody sock.
Yeah, no, that's
David Ortiz.
That's part of it. Okay.
Coming
through. All right. Look.
Well, so we lived through it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the point.
Are you a baseball fan?
Love? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a baseball fan.
I like playoff baseball.
Right. Okay. 2003, the Boston Red Sox. They lose in Game 7 to the New York Yankees. Everybody knows the Yankees Red Sox. That one of the greatest rivalries of all time. The curse of the Babe.
Go back to Babe Ruth.
Right. Haven't won a World Series, all this kind of shit. They constantly lose these Game 7s. They name an assistant to the general manager as the new general manager. His name's Theo Epstein. He's like 25.
Yep.
Nobody knew he'd become famous.
He basically goes out and pulls a Moneyball situation. Now, he's not doing what Billy Beane did the same way.
Billy Beane turned them down.
Right.
Everybody's seen Moneyball.
Right. Billy Beane turned them down. But he puts this ragtag group together, basically. Kevin Millar, Bill Miller, Bill Mueller, Jason Varitek, they had the big Nomar. That was the year Nomar got traded.
So you want to buy that this team was ragtag.
Well,
with Manny Ramirez.
Well, he was a problem.
Schilling.
Manny Ramirez was a problem.
And David Ortiz.
Curt Schilling had some issues.
Johnny Damon.
No, look, guys, if you're a baseball fan, this is what I'm going to tell you about this. If you're a baseball fan, I'm an Orioles fan, but this is 3 episodes. It brings back, this is the heyday of baseball. This was the last time I feel that baseball was true and real the way we know baseball. It was a real rivalry. They broke through. They started the season horribly. They battled their way back. There were a lot of things that happened during the year that were just issues they had to get over. And next thing you know, they're down 3-0. Nobody had ever come back and won down 3-0. They come back, they beat the Yankees, and then they go to sweep in the World Series and win their first World Series.
Without Nomar.
That's right. So
the Babe curse is lifted.
What happens is, this is what happened to me. I watched this, and of course, you're talking about, Schilling, Pedro Martinez.
Yeah.
Right.
He was awesome.
I mean, it's a legendary group of players. I literally, at the end of this documentary, there was a small part of me that was like, God damn, I'm a Red Sox fan. Like, it was so incredible.
They got under your skin.
It was one of the better. I don't want to say best, because I'm trying to stay away from that. Those, those whatever you want to call them. But,
ultimatums.
Well, just, extreme things. But I'll tell you what, as far as baseball documentaries go, if you're old school and you like that history, Schwaber, I'm telling you, it's worth watching. It's one of the best baseball documentaries I've seen in a while. It's very, very motivating.
But I've seen it.
Yeah, I know. We go through this.
He's just not a documentary.
He is not He is not a documentary guy. I agree.
Do you think it was the way it was shot that got you in?
But look, if you like documentaries, watch. Okay, this has been the Sports Black and Gold podcast all over the world on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Go there right now. Subscribe to us on YouTube at the Sports Podcast. You can see us every single week, every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Don't forget, that's Eastern time. Don't forget, Thursday night, draft party. Thursday night, right here, 8 o'clock. NFL draft.
We'll see you then.
Cast of characters. We want your comments. We want your take. We want you to be a part of the show.
Get your pizza.
Get
Straight
ready.
New York.
We're going to have a great time. Amy says, good show. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy.
For the Grand Schwabini, for Hockey Jesus, I'm your technical director, and I am out. We'll see you Thursday.
Jablonsk.
Jablonsk.